All right, we're live. Finally. Technical difficulties are awesome. This is RSG, episode 3. With me is Mr. Nathan Connor
Hello.
and Mr. Roby Watson.
Good evening.
And it's got our live schedule, or our live podcast schedule up on our YouTube channel, which I'm linking in Facebook now. And we got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to review Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, who we have dubbed Sin City, A Disappointment to Kill For. More on that, which is awesome. Thank you, Roby.
You're welcome.
We'll talk some indie games. Yeah, we'll talk some indie games from PAX, and we'll also talk about just random news. Joan Rivers died today. Don't know if that's really news, but I say 3.
Yeah, it's news. I think. I mean,
I wonder who's next.
right?
Who's next?
Comes in threes.
Yep.
Comes in threes.
Should we start taking bets? Never bet on Betty White, by the way.
Hell
Always a
no.
horrible idea.
Hell no.
She will
Right.
never die.
She'll outlive me, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
All right.
But okay, I think it needs to at least be mentioned. The fappening.
The fappening. Well, hold on a sec now. I'm looking at our YouTube channel. It looks like we're not quite broadcasting live.
You might be looking at the wrong one. We're broadcasting.
Oh, we are. Maybe I linked the wrong one. I'm going to piss a lot of people off. By a lot, I mean 2.
A lot of people, right? A lot of people, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, we are. Here we are.
Like hundreds of millions of them.
But no, I think we should at least talk about the fappening a little bit. Because I mean, it happened,
It happened.
and there's some interesting
happened.
fallout, to it. So for those of you who don't know what the fappening is, it is a one person, I'll say gentleman, decided to hack the cloud. And
Okay, turns out it was not actually the cloud. It was weak passwords on the individual accounts for the people in question.
Wow.
That's according to Apple. Now, Apple could be lying to you right now so that people don't en masse leave the cloud. I don't know.
I feel like the list of people, that's a lot. Like there was a large number of people.
Yeah.
That's a large number of. Like, I'm not saying that people don't have the wherewithal to do it, because they do, but that's a lot of people like to hack individual accounts for.
Eh.
You don't think so?
Oh, I definitely think so, but this guy had been promising this for weeks.
Oh, I didn't know he promised it.
Yeah, this has been a promise like for a while.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, to get to explaining what it actually is, somebody hacked many famous females' cloud accounts, and in doing so, procured many nude photos of these stars. Jennifer Lawrence probably being one of the top amongst the people who were hacked.
Yeah, there's a ton of. I mean,
yeah.
I heard there's a ton of her pictures on there.
Yeah, Selena Gomez, Victoria Justice, and a whole lot of others.
You got to question if some of those aren't child porn.
Bar Raffaele. Well, I mean, you could, if you just look at like how old any of the people are,
Right.
I mean, some of them, if at the beginning of their career, yeah, it would have been.
Well, but we don't know how old those pictures are either.
That's true.
That's also true. It's the fallout from it has been. I mean, they're out on the internet now, so you're not getting rid of them. It's just
no, they're out there. They're never going away.
They're never going away.
They're not.
But the fallout has been pretty swift and pretty severe. The last I heard, the person who had hacked these accounts is on the run from the FBI.
Jeez.
Yep.
You do not mess with America's entertainment.
Well, he's also saying, quit following me or I'll release more pictures. So the fappening has slowed to a snail's crawl. There aren't any new pictures
taking
being
a break
released at the moment, but there's still more out there. because I believe he has more. I absolutely believe he has more than he actually released, because these are bargaining chips. This is internet money right here,
That's true.
which I mean directly
Yeah, but
translates into real money.
Well, people were selling people were buying his photos for bitcoins and stuff like that when he was
Yep.
when he was tossing them out. So
which is
it's
crazy.
crazy. It is
That's
crazy. It's nuts.
It's really crazy because if you just waited an hour, chances are you'd be able to find it damn near anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that. I imagine that a lot of the people who bought these photos might have been with magazines and stuff, probably different media outlets. Because I know he didn't sell directly. He automatic. I know he refused some of these. What would you say it was? One of the magazines?
TMZ
TMZ.
offered him 6 figures. Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, nope, and it just released him on 4chan instead and said, you guys deserve it more.
That's true. Of course, I mean it's like what we were talking about before. I mean the 6 figures that TMZ would have gave him for that, they wouldn't even have covered the lawyer costs should he get caught.
Yeah.
That I mean,
Celebs could afford way better lawyers.
yeah.
Yeah.
The 6
Yeah.
million, the 6 figures isn't going to do anything for him.
Well, and I think the last I heard, I would like 75% of the people on that list are all like seeking legal action. So
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
It's swift.
Well, I
know.
think was it J-Lo was calling for it to be considered a sex crime, if I remember the article correctly. She wanted it to be considered a sex offense.
She might not be wrong about that. She
Yeah?
might not be wrong about that.
It's
mean, it's
definitely a sex offense, I
Yeah,
think.
it's a violation of. I mean, yeah, everything.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad thing to do. I don't really support it, to be entirely frank. As much as we all want to see some of these stars naked, because a lot of people do, it's not worth going against their privacy to do so.
No, I agree. Because I mean, I would hate that happened to me. Of course, I wouldn't automatically up the things to the cloud. That's just me. But yeah, so
Well,
I wouldn't like it either. If someone in my family, if that happened to someone in my family, though, I'd be like super pissed off too. So I could understand the whole frustration.
but that's a dangerous line to say, like, well, you shouldn't do that because the possibility is there. Well, the possibility is always there for something bad to happen to you. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be. We shouldn't tell them like that's like, well, too bad for you because you put your naked pictures on the internet or in the cloud where they can be accessed from the internet. We should tell the people who do it to stop. But will we, as a society? I don't know.
Well, here's the problem. We can all day long we can talk and just what's the word I'm thinking of here? We can just absolutely vilify these people,
True.
right? All day long, but it's not going to change that. The people that are there's people who are going to do this. If people have the ability, they will do it. I think. I seriously doubt it's even the first time something like this has happened. It's just that
It won't be the last.
Oh, certainly not. It's just that the person who did it this time decided to release it to the world instead of just keeping it for themselves and sharing it with a few friends or whatever.
Yeah.
It's we can, like I said, we can vilify it, but it's not going to stop things. I think the problem really comes down to not telling people not to do it, but informing people and educating people so they know that this can happen, and you make your decision based on information that you have, like legit information. Now,
Is there anybody who didn't know that was a possibility?
Right.
Like, you think Jennifer Lawrence didn't know that it was a possibility that her account might get hacked by someone? Especially if you're a celebrity, you got to know that kind of thing is. You're constantly under attack for that kind of thing.
Well, I don't disagree. I think they probably did know, but at the same time, I mean, it's not like I'm not saying that they should that this happens and they should just eat it. What I'm saying is that even though that they know that this is the possibility, I mean, we still have to take actions. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're in the same society though that condones the paparazzi.
Right.
We have a right to the pictures of them at all times, everywhere, all the time. You know what I mean? We condone that, but we're going to turn around and say this is not okay. It's all invasion of privacy.
True.
You know, if that's not
Granted,
okay, paparazzi shouldn't be okay either. Which is personally my personal opinion. Paparazzi bad. Invading people's privacy in general bad.
oh, I agree with that. I do. I do think this is a little different. I mean, paparazzi pictures oftentimes aren't celebrity nudes. You know what I mean? Like this is
Right.
a lot different. Well, it's still it's still pictures. It's still invasion of privacy. All that I 100% agree with. This is a little bit more extreme than paparazzi, in my opinion, but only
Only
because of
because
the
the
nature of it.
paparazzi can't generally find them in public nude.
True.
If the paparazzi were allowed to have their way even more than they are now, this would be no different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The problem is that I don't think a lot of people realize that by buying, these TMZ magazines and by buying these magazines with paparazzi pictures on them, Sun and whatnot, you are empowering them.
Oh yeah. But it's
And
never good.
I don't think people make that direct correlation. They should. It seems pretty obvious to me, but surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't see it.
It's easier to not think about the consequences of your actions and just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, you're not really thinking about that when you're standing in line at the grocery store or something like that, and you see the paparazzi paper.
Right.
Like, oh, look at
Well,
that. So
it's
and
one thing
so's
to
fat
see
on
the
the beach.
paparazzi paper. It's another thing to buy it.
Right.
You
Right.
can't help what you're exposed to sometimes, but
Yeah.
you can help what you spend money on.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, that's the general gist of things. I mean, I wish I wasn't. I would like to say that I'm not a supporter of all this stuff, but you know what? I indirectly support all kinds of crap. And,
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this, it's difficult to make those distinctions sometimes.
Let's
Right.
all wave our hypocrisy flag.
Yep.
We do it too.
No,
But
it's
it's
way
bad.
high. Yeah.
Yep. But, anyways, I think that was probably the biggest news story out of this last week.
Well, no. Joan Rivers today. That's big. Joan Rivers.
Yeah, but that's not going to replace naked pictures of J-Law on the news circuit.
True.
I mean, Joan
You're
Rivers
absolutely
is a
true.
big deal, but a lot of the people to whom Joan Rivers' death would have been a big deal have already died.
That's true. She,
So,
with the help of artificial mechanics, was able to survive a lot longer than your average human being.
Artificial means.
correct.
Well,
That's
the thing about Joan Rivers is, if anybody, I mean, a lot of people might know Joan Rivers, especially even in my generation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we
as-
definitely do, but Joan Rivers is not a... She's just
No.
a joke?
Well, let me go into it a little bit further. I mean, a lot of us know her for her, sort of red carpet coverage where she just slams, celebrities for what they're wearing, to.
That's true.
I mean, that's what we know her for, a lot of us. But she actually has a very interesting and varied career. And if you don't know anything about her, definitely go and look at some of her biography, because it's actually really interesting. And she's, I don't know, one of the few celebrities that I think up there with Betty White as far as someone to be truly interested by and even inspired by in some ways. Mainly because of her no nonsense sort of approach to life and work. In reality, I mean, she could have retired years ago off the money she had, but never did because she enjoyed what she did, which was this sort of acerbic comedian sort of style that she had, which I liked. So
Yeah. Never thought about it like that.
when someone dies, I think it's important to look back at their life and not so much what they've done in the last 10 years.
True.
Nah, that's bullshit, man.
All right. Well, any celebrity? Well, I guess that's kind of it for the celebrity news. PAX. PAX came out like a freaking rocket.
There's a
bunch
couple
of
other
games.
interesting articles.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about PAX in a
Okay.
minute. Yes. The Rock has officially been cast to play
Oh, that's
Black
right.
Adam in a DC movie.
That's right.
Thoughts, Connor?
Okay, I'm gonna go with this. I really like Black Adam, first of all, and mainly because I really like his connection to Shazam. which is he's a bit silly, but I enjoyed the comics a ton, and I enjoyed the character. I think Rock as Black Adam is actually a pretty good cast. I think
I agree. I agree strongly.
it's actually
But
a very, very good cast.
I like The Rock and most of the things that he's been in. I generally have no complaints about his abilities as an actor to do the roles that he gets picked for. You know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't cast him as James Bond, but
Right.
I think for what he does a good job. And I think Black Adam is well within his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree. Absolutely. Well within his wheelhouse. He has the right physique for it. Honestly, he has the right facial structure for it.
Yep.
Black Adam is a darker character than he's used to playing, I think, in general, or has played recently.
Yeah.
Very serious sort of character. I mean, he played Hercules recently, but even Hercules is sort of a jovial character in reality. I didn't see the movie, so I don't know what their spin on Hercules was, but in general, Hercules was kind of jovial and anxious to fight, and Black Adam's much more serious, bad guy. So,
Right.
It's true.
is this going to be a Shazam movie? Is this
that is not yet 100% for sure.
Wow.
People are thinking it might just be a Black Adam anti-hero movie.
Now that's
because
weird.
they've not announced any casting for Shazam.
That is really
And you would think if it was his movie, that his casting would be announced first. You know?
Now, is this Marvel Disney or
What?
Marvel Sony?
This is DC.
This is
Oh,
DC,
wait,
so it'll be
wow.
Warner Brothers.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah, Warner
Yeah.
Bros.
Nice.
So, and I mean, let's face it, Warner Bros. Has done some crappy movies with other DC characters.
They have. Well, I mean, hopefully they do a good job with this. Black Adam actually has a really great backstory, and is really interesting as a bad guy because of his backstory. He has, it's pretty classic. Don't get me wrong. It's not breaking any like stereotypes or tropes, but it is very classic. It is very good, and it has a great story as to why he's bad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is something that lacks a lot of times with a lot of bad guys in movies. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Oh.
But
yeah, I thought The Rock was a great cast for that.
yeah, I think so too. I think it's a really good cast.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how it plays out. Then he's going to be Hercules, right? I believe.
He is Hercules. Yes.
He already was Hercules.
Oh, is that already
movie
out?
came out over the summer. We missed it.
I don't.
I say missed because we didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we missed it.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's just one of those things that just fades away in obscurity.
Well, I'll tell you.
It might be good.
I'll tell you a quick excerpt from a review that I had heard, and I can't remember the reviewer's name now, and I apologize for that. But it was, I like The Rock and everything he does, so I like The Rock in this. But if I was watching Rock take a poop for 90 minutes, I would have enjoyed it more.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So it's kind of like Lucy, is what you're saying then.
Very much like that, I bet.
All
Very
the
much
secrets
like
of the
that.
universe on this little flash drive. There you go.
God.
The Galactic Flash.
Black
We
ooze.
need to get a hold of Marv sometime and talk to him about Lucy.
That's a good. Yeah.
But
You know
you
he
said there
liked
was-
it.
You said there was other news articles that came out, Roby?
No way he liked it. I was thinking there was something else, but I can't remember now what it was, so let's carry on to PAX.
See, man.
PAX was
Oh, wait, one other interesting casting note. Sorry, I remember what it was. The guy who plays Syrio Forel in Game of Thrones
yeah.
Oh
has
yeah.
been cast to be in the next Star Wars movie.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting call, I think. We'll see how that works out.
As who?
They don't say. You know,
Interesting.
J.J. Abrams is all about secretiveness.
I'm
No
a
one
fan.
can know. No one can know.
Right.
But, I mean, people are going to find out. But,
Well, you mean until the studio leaks it?
right. So, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be, but I hope a Jedi.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, it should be a Jedi. Of
You
some
know,
type.
they might end up making him some sort of like politician or something like that. But I could see them making him like the president of the galactic, whatever they are. You know.
Yeah.
True, but I mean, he did show some combat with Saber and Game of Thrones. I mean, that could have
Right.
been it.
She's
So
practically an action star.
I know.
All I have to do is grunt more. Man,
Yeah.
action star.
I just
One of
liked
the
an
coolest
article is
lines
pretty
in
good
Game of
about
Thrones, I think. So.
it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, on to PAX then. PAX happened this past weekend, and there was. It was both disappointing and awesome at the same time. The problem that I had with PAX is I was expecting more information on some of these titles that I've been personally looking forward to, like with Killer Instinct and heck, just about any title that you might be looking forward to in the next year. But very, very little actually came out of PAX as far as the AAA titles go. But a whole lot came out about a lot of these indie games. Some of which aren't really indie games, one specifically, but some of them, the others are, and they really look pretty fantastic. I'm actually pretty excited for a number of them. So I'll go on to the first one that isn't the indie game that was shown, and this is actually out now. A lot of these are out now. It's called Child of Light, and it's made by Ubisoft. So right there, you're not an indie game. You're made by Ubisoft.
Right.
You know, it's one of the major studios out there. Looks like it's out on all consoles. It's out on PS4, Xbox Live.
Yeah. My roommate actually downloaded it the other day. I was gonna get ready to give it a try. Child of Light looked really interesting.
Looks really good. It is. It has its combat is classic JRPG with the sort of action. I'm not sure what you call it exactly. I know there's a term for it, but I don't know what it is offhand. Very much like Final Fantasy, where you have lots of time to perform your action, but you need to make that decision because if you just sit there, the enemies will just keep going and going and going.
It's true.
So it's very much like Final Fantasy in that sense. It is absolutely beautifully animated. It is a very, very pretty game. And
Yeah, there's a pretty decent gameplay trailer of it up too. Makes it look really nice. I linked it on the page.
Great. But it's it kind of looks like a moving watercolor painting, so it looks really cool in that sense. But it has a lot of like platforming and puzzle elements, but the actual combat is much more like a JRPG, which is really cool. And those of you who don't know, Japanese RPG, so that's what JRPG is.
Oh, you just spelled the J, but not the RPG.
I'm assuming that
Ooh.
people who are listening to us know what RPG means by this point. Probably not the
We have
greatest
to limit our
assumption.
audience like that, man.
Okay, sorry. Japanese role-playing game. There.
I'm sure there are all kinds of 7-year-old girls listening to our podcast right now who have maybe never had the chance to play an RPG in their life. Okay.
Yeah.
Trish
I
actually
didn't
has
know.
the game, Child of Light.
Child of Light. Does he?
Trish, yeah, she does.
Oh wow.
Oh, Trish does. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
See, this is a game I actually really want to play, so I want to give that some time. Made by Ubisoft, I think it's definitely worth a look. If you were ever a fan of JRPGs, this is a game to check out.
I think JRPGs are really the best RPGs in my mind.
I
For
would.
my money, I will play a JRPG over almost anything else.
JRPGs I like a ton. I probably had the most fun playing JRPGs. Second to like strategy RPGs, more than likely is my second favorite choice.
Strategy RPGs. By this we mean just strategy games with leveling up.
A good example would be Suikoden. If you ever played Suikoden at all, but there is basically where your troops level up. XCOM in a certain way can be considered a strategy RPG, but not really.
Right, because there's not really any role-playing elements to it.
No, it's just the leveling up system.
I
is
mean,
very
not
much
that there's a
like
lot of
leveling up.
actual role-play elements involved to it, JRPG either, but
Oh.
Well, yeah. RPG is really just sort of a term that kind of bled over into the video game era when the same like idea of leveling up your character in this consistent progression,
Right.
From pen and paper days. So.
yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But the next game is called Transistor. It is out now on the PS4 and PC. However, I checked Steam and it wasn't on Steam, so you might have to order directly from them. I'm not positive. But it's made by Supergiant Games, and it's cyberpunk themed game. It looks actually pretty interesting. It's also very well animated. It has some I really like the art style they use for the different cutscenes. And the character design is pretty cool. But as far as how the game actually plays, which is the important part, it's a top-down strategy game, sort of in the same vein as like Fallout and Dragon Age, where you can play the game in a more like action-based sort of way, where you're just sort of like moment-to-moment control, but in reality, it's designed for like moments of pausing, telling your character what to do, and then unpausing and have that, having the main character, whose name is Red, by the way, execute those actions. So if you're a fan of Fallout, fan of Dragon Age, and you like Cyberpunk, this is also a really really interesting game. $20 was the price that I saw on that. So
it's not bad. I don't know. Indie games to me it might be a little high. I don't know how long the gameplay is for $20.
Well, a lot of these indie games, like what they're doing, and what I like about indie games, is that they are foregoing some of the crazy like 3D graphics. Like they take the animation and then that's what they focus on. They focus on like beautifully animated, simple graphics, and that is really what made the previous generation, or actually a number of generations ago, games like great. Was that they didn't have these crazy graphics, but they focused very much on the gameplay, because that was what you had to put all your programming into instead of graphics, because things couldn't render graphics quite as well back in those days, obviously. So that's what I'm really liking about a lot of these indie games, is that a lot of the gameplay is being focused on, a lot of the content of the game is being focused on, as opposed to the graphics. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of graphics to go into making an indie game and making it beautiful, but they do it in a much more simple and method. But let's see, what's the next one? Oh, Invisible Ink. Invisible Ink looks good. Yeah, this one might be one that you're actually interested in, Remy. The release date is it's not out yet.
I'm interested in, dude.
Don't tell me what I'm interested in.
You might be interested in. You might be interested in. Settle down.
Sorry, it was just reaction. Sorry.
I understand.
Just instinct. I didn't mean it. Carry on.
Sheathe your EP, sir. Let me finish. But as far as the release date is concerned, there's early access now on Steam. It is not out yet, however. So if you want to try it out, there is early access right now on Steam. Obviously, you'll still have to pay for it. I don't have a number on that one. But it's made by Clay Entertainment, or Clay, or Clay, or Clay.
I think they call it Clay, because there's like a robotic voice. I linked the webpage up on the Facebook page, and check it out, but they go like Clay or something weird.
Yeah. But again, this one's also really well animated, and it sort of has a dark, cartoony feel to it, but it's a stealth strategy game, very much like XCOM. So you get a team of super spies, and you're basically going in and doing spy things in these giant corporations. They have procedurally generated levels, and the emphasis on the strategy is stealth, as opposed to straight out combat like you would probably see in XCOM.
But it's turn-based too, right?
Right. It is turn-based. It's turn-based, top-down, grid-based strategy game. So looks very, very cool.
See, emphasis on stealth is where you're going to lose me at.
Really?
Well, it depends.
I don't do stealth.
You still have the shooting and everything like that, but there's a larger emphasis on turning, let's say, the security gadgets that exist inside of the of the level against the guards and security guards and everything that exists, the people that you're fighting against, whoever they might be,
Right.
Against them, so it could have some
shot.
Could have some really
good.
No, so it could have some some parts that I think you would probably enjoy.
Right. It might. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoy puzzles sometimes like that, where you have to try to figure out the best way to use the available tools against the other people, in your environment. But generally, I don't do stealth, man.
Well, I think it's worth a check.
I love XCOM.
Right.
But I suppose you can count that as being stealthy because you try and not be seen first. But
It's kind of stealthy. I
once we
think.
get seen, I'm all about like rocket launchers everywhere, grenades everywhere we go. I will just blow up the entire map.
Now, the next one I'm a little less excited for, but it looks like it could be a good, like, sit down, waste, 10 or 20 minutes sort of game. It's called Not a Hero, and it is pure 8-bit carnage.
This one just looks like pain, though. I don't know if I'm going to get into this one.
It's probably not one I'm going to try, to be entirely frank with you. But it's a 2D based cover shooter, which sounds weird, but
2D cover shooter?
it's a 2D cover shooter. Yeah.
How do you? What?
Well, let me tell you. You do it by making the cover mechanic look wonky as shit. That's how you do it.
Got it. Okay. I think that would be the only way you could do it.
Yeah, like there's like your character basically pops behind, what looks to be. I mean, the things that are in the environment that you can take cover behind are pretty obvious, so there's no real like confusion there. But a dude could be right beside you, like literally right in front of your face, and as long as you're not out like popping out and shooting, because you automatically slide into cover. And
Is it side-scrolling?
it's side-scrolling, yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting a link up on the page right now. It's definitely, I don't know. It kind of reminds me, you know how Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 was all about just punishing you for advancing further on in the game? This kind of seems to me like it would be that way. Like it's trying to punish you, I don't know, motivate through pain? I don't know.
Creating a larger challenge, I suppose. But
yeah.
They have some pretty cool references in the game. Like one of the characters' names that you can play is called Jesus.
Yeah, he looks like the Jesus.
Yeah, he has pink pants on, and it's literally inspired by Jesus from The Big Lebowski. So he has the pink pants on and everything. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's nice. So it has some neat throwbacks, and honestly, as far as like the 8-bit animation goes, it looks like I said, it's a lot of carnage, a lot of blood spatter, 8-bit blood spatter. But it looks like it's something that you can waste some time on, 10 or 20 minutes. I'm not sure if it's something I would sit down and play for hours. I think I would get too bored of it, honestly. But now the next one might be the first roguelike I ever play.
Really?
Yeah, it's a roguelike.
The first what?
Roguelike game. And roguelikes are basically usually top-down games that are extremely difficult because permadeath. You have one character, and you die, you start all over. No questions asked.
I don't have patience for that.
Yeah. But this is a large-scale roguelike. Permadeath absolutely exists. The release date is to be announced, and unfortunately no release date yet. It's made by Capybara Games.
What's the game name again?
Below.
Below, okay.
Yeah, Below. And there's no text, no tutorial. You just have to go and figure it out and die trying. Not more die trying.
Nope.
That I'm for.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That I'm for. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I hate top-down games, but yeah, that I'm for.
Well, the top-down in this one is very interesting looking because it's zoomed way out. And they, during one of the interviews, they said, we did that on purpose because we want to make you feel small and weak, like your character is one move away from dying, because you absolutely are, all the time, one move away from just being killed.
Interesting.
So that I'm for, because, when you do succeed, that's something you've been trying to do for like 45 minutes.
True.
It feels so much better than like World of Warcraft raiding nowadays, where it's just free and handed to you. Like, meh, I accomplished it, but I don't feel like I've accomplished anything.
Right.
Give me repeated failure with success at the end every time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a very big world because you're a tiny little character. You have no name. Your gender's unspecified. You're just called the Wanderer, and you're just thrown into the world, and you're go, just go, figure it out, go, and that's it. So, they said you need to figure it out on your own and die trying, because there is no or die trying. There is, you will die.
And die trying. Yeah.
And die trying. So.
Yeah. Don't give me tips. Don't give me any help. Just let me go.
Yep. Just off into the world with you, and we'll come collect your corpse later. So
I'm
looks
for it.
pretty interesting. I do want to try it out. I've not played too many roguelikes that I like that much, and it's not because I don't like the permadeath thing, because I do actually like permadeath quite a bit. You know, but I just haven't tried them out because I generally don't like the way they play. You know, I'm not a graphics whore by any means, but you know, some of these games are beyond ugly. You know, I like a game to at least look aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't have to be, you know,
Dude.
crazy 3D graphics everywhere, but I do like it when it, you know, is aesthetically pleasing.
I'm at
Most
least a
roguelikes,
little bit of graphics, or a little bit.
maybe in comparison to you, but you know.
Ooh.
That's right, bro. Play MUDs. I don't care. I need
Dude,
pictures.
don't talk to me about mods. I was playing those before. Shut up. Get out of here.
What? Before what, bro?
Before you.
Before
So-
what?
I'm OG.
Right.
OG, got it.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain to us what that means, too, since you're busy explaining stuff?
Original gamer. That's what.
Original gamer.
But yeah, that's it. Those are the top titles that really come out of PAX. There are some other, some AAA news, information.
Destiny. There's a lot of stuff on Destiny.
Well, next week, look forward to it, guys. We're gonna have some hands-on with Destiny, and we'll talk about it, review it a little bit.
Overhyped, underproduced.
I don't. You know what? Shut your mouth.
Bro, in 2 weeks when I'm right, I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to
You're like
love
a-
it.
You're like a broken record over there. Listen, quite frankly,
That's
that's
because the gaming industry is like a broken record, producing, overselling, and underproducing all of their games.
no. That's what I was gonna say. Honestly, that's because that's how the industry works right now. Everything is overhyped. Almost everything is underproduced. There are a few companies, I think, that if they don't get it right the first time, they make a conscious effort to like get it right and
But
fix it.
who gives them a chance to fix it most times? You know what
Almost
I mean?
no
That's
one.
the kind of it, which is part of the reason why it is so bad. Like, we as gamers are shitty consumers.
Oh yeah, we're terrible people.
I'm just saying that we are. Like,
No, I agree with
like
you.
MMOs when they come out, you know, you have launch day to get it right, and if it's not right, you start losing subs immediately.
Yep.
You know.
Well,
If everyone is the happiest they could possibly be with it, you will start losing subs immediately, and then once subs start going away, everyone else is like, everyone's not doing this anymore. I'm leaving too.
well, the problem is that it used to be like, listen, if I start playing an MMO or any game really that has some sort of like consistent support, and it's sometimes buggy at certain things, I forgive it. I'm like, okay, it's buggy. It was just made. It's a super code. It's difficult to manage and to create. Fine, it's good. Some things are going to be buggy. That's just the way it works, right? However, as long as the game is fun and playable, then I don't care. It'll get better, hopefully, and hopefully they will fix those bugs, in the future. But if I play a game and it's just crap, it's just not good, or the bugs are so bad that it's unplayable, then at that point you have a game that was, well, underproduced.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of it also is the internet circle jerk that we are all now capable of participating in. At an almost meta level, really.
Yeah.
Some people start putting out flaws in the game that they found, and they may not have bothered you before, but now you're going to see them every time.
Yep.
And before, those things you just didn't see. You just didn't care. You were happy enough with what you had.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they didn't directly
Back in my
improve
day.
on your gameplay, yeah.
Well, so many times you don't. I mean, something will happen. You don't even know it's a bug.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't even know it's a bug. So somebody, hey, that's a bug. Oh crap, that's a bug. Fix this game or I quit. But it's definitely a problem with gaming. Nowadays is that I think the consumer base for games is just a bunch of entitled assholes.
Yeah, I won't deny that one.
By the way, as I am saying this, I am, very, very much waving my hypocrisy flag. Like, just all around. It's getting waved all over the place.
Just wave it proud, man.
Yep, yep. But that's really it for PAX. I think we're gonna have to wait for the rest of this year to see what other games come along this year, and probably E3 before we get any real news on some AAA titles we've been waiting for. So.
There's one game that dropped a whole new content patch this week. Was it Minecraft? Dropped 1.8. Added rabbits. Sheep finally are able to drop like meat as opposed to the 5 years that they've been out. You know what, Roby? Just because you don't like Minecraft doesn't mean that there's not people out there that enjoy Minecraft.
Listen,
I really enjoy
I'm just
Minecraft.
messing with you, bro. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Have you guys got a chance? Well, I know you probably haven't, Roby, but Connor, have you got a chance to mess with 1.8 at all?
Not at all yet. No.
It's a lot of good things. They added a new dungeon type thing. It's considered the high-end end game. You have to have enchanted gear to go into. It's a underwater temple. So not only do you have to have underwater gear so that you can breathe better underwater and have underwater potions and stuff like that. You have to be enchanted, and once you're in, you get a debuff until you kill the main bad guy that slows your mining. So you can't just mine your way out of the top and get away. Like, you have to crawl this dungeon. It's pretty cool. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I want to say two things, because I am a giant fan of Minecraft. Okay, let me preface everything I'm about to say with that.
Okay.
I have some serious issues, however. The first being, Minecraft is a game about creation. It is its claim to fame. It's about creation and ingenuity and taking the meager things that you have and making something amazing out of them. Okay?
True.
That is what they should be focusing on.
You think so?
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Putting stuff like this in is fine, but considering the snail's pace that they developed for this game, despite the millions of dollars that they get, they're working on putting in dungeons as opposed to really focusing on what the game is about. And that just gets under my skin. Quite frankly, they've made enough money that they could easily have done this plus a whole bunch of other stuff. There's so many things that aren't supported and could be supported in this game. We know the technology exists to make a boat and swim around the world. That exists. Why not make it on a bigger scale? Exploration, creation. These are things that Minecraft's all about.
Yeah.
So, and that's just
okay. That's valid. Yeah, I understand that. I agree with you on that.
So I just don't understand why they develop it. So, maybe it's because they decided to develop it on Java, the fools.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was ever supposed to really be something big, to be honest. I think it was just supposed to be some dude's project that he did for fun.
Yeah.
But
I
mean, there's a ton of stuff that happened with 1.8. Recommend go checking it out. I mean, they added new blocks, there's new mechanics, they added new blocks for decorating, like they have granite and a bunch of other I think it's like dacite or something like that, or dacimite.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. You get a chance to check it out if you want to. I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
Makes me want to get a server.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do that again.
That would be fun.
Yep.
We got to get one that. Well, we can talk about all this later.
Nerds.
Hey, you are on a gaming podcast.
I do want to get to Sin City.
Bro,
well, now,
gaming. And then
hold on a sec here before we get started with Sin City.
Get out of here, Ruby.
We are going to spoil this movie. If you don't want to have it spoiled, I'm going to recommend walking away, then coming back and...
No.
I feel like the probably 3 people who watch our podcast know that we spoil movies, but I appreciate that announcement.
Well, I feel like I got to do my part.
Let me correct you. We're going to spoil this movie. Stick around, because this way you won't have to go watch and spend money on it yourself.
Yes, don't waste your time or money on this movie.
Let's let Roby start. You're the angriest.
Yeah.
You go.
I don't know that I'm actually the angriest, but I definitely did not enjoy this movie. Now, we watched it like a week after it released, or 2 weeks after it released, whatever. We didn't catch it opening night or anything. And I hadn't read any of the reviews, but I had seen that they were not positive. And so I went into it and thinking, well, maybe people just forgot that the first Sin City was edgy and cool, and they just don't remember it. And then, now I'm starting to think that maybe I was wrong about the first Sin City. after I left this movie because I'm like, wow, maybe the first Sin City was also shit, and I just didn't realize it. So I went back and watched it again. That's not true. Sin
Look,
City's
I'm glad
still
that's
great.
not true.
This
I'm glad
one
that's not
just not good. It's like they took all the painting of what it was supposed to be. Like they had all the visuals were there, but there was no character. There's no feeling behind it. You know what I mean? I thought all the storylines were pointless.
Yeah.
You know, nothing really happened. You know, like in the first one, you really, like for me at least, I really enjoyed Marv's storyline in the first one. He was great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in this one, he was just sort of like, oh, everybody loves Marv. We'll just put him in every single scene. You know? And they brought Bruce Willis back as a ghost for what? Does Bruce Willis need another paycheck?
There was no reason for that.
Get that guy out of here, for serious.
He's dead.
Why is he here? He's dead. Leave him dead. Send him away. You know? This one seemed to be all about taking down the senator.
Right.
Rourke, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, you're right. Rourke.
Yep.
And he just seems like a giant dick, but not like, I don't know.
He seems like a senator. Has the power to do what he wants to do.
Also, nearing gratuitous levels of nudity.
Yeah, that's true.
When I look over at my friend in the theater and go, really? Again? With Eva Green's tits? Again? We've reached the point where it's too much. You're not telling a story anymore. You're just flashing gratuitous nudity at us. Which on some levels I'm for, but not for my $14 or whatever at the theater.
Right. I feel like the movie did a lot of setting things up and then never finishing anything.
Right.
In any substantial way. It just was like a lot of build up to just uninspiring, crappy, endings to stories. It was rough. It was really, really rough. And there was a lot of, there was just so much of Eva Green's boobs.
Yeah.
It was just a ton of that. And I don't know why. How often do we have to see naked?
I think she was clothed in, maybe two scenes?
Yeah, well, they actually clothed her in her first scene she had, which, after watching the entire movie, surprised me.
Yeah. They should have just had her walk around.
It was ridiculous. It really was.
And you're right, Marv's storyline was great, but it was also just a portion of, this overarching story that really, had a lot of great characters in the first one.
And tied together,
and this just didn't.
This doesn't tie together, right?
No.
It felt like we went back and did all the same shtick from the first one, but just to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had little Miho, the Asian chick from the first one, doing crazy shit with her bow and her sword and cutting people up and blood splattering everywhere, which was cool in the first one, but in this one just seemed forced.
Well, it was too much.
Why is she doing it? You know what I mean? She wasn't doing it to protect her turf or anything anymore. It was just because the dude's white asked us to, so sure, why not?
Right. Yeah. Well, Dwight saved her life and all this stuff, but it was
which they don't have any proof of even. So
they should have just. Okay, this is why the movie confounded me so badly, and I think you as well, Roby. Obviously, by your watching the first one, going, wait a minute, maybe one sucked too. No, one was great. What's going on here? That happens because it's done by the same director and the same writer.
Yes.
And how they messed this up, I don't know. I'm a fan of Rodriguez.
I don't know either.
I'm a fan of Frank Miller. How the hell?
Yeah.
I don't understand how they messed it up so badly. I don't.
I don't know. I honestly think I could have done without Joseph Gordon-Levitt's storyline entirely.
Yeah, it made no
cut
sense.
Him out. It didn't make any sense. He didn't prove any points. He didn't do anything. You know. He came in. He played his poker or whatever. He's all some sort of magic luck power apparently. That goes completely unexplained, which is fine, I suppose. But, somehow he always wins, he always gets lucky, whatever. And so he proves that he can beat Senator Rourke at poker several times in a row, twice in a row. Big deal. Then he dies.
Yeah,
it gets him
what
killed.
Have you proven?
He's so lucky that he gets shot in the face.
Yeah.
Right in front of the police chief too. So
Well,
who
no,
told him that he couldn't save him? He was like, look, I can't
Yeah.
stop him from doing nothing to you. So dude, get out.
Yeah.
Well, and there was a lot of like, oh, these storylines are gonna intertwine here in a second, because it has Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh, he's playing poker with Rourke. Oh, here's Jessica Alba.
This is Nancy.
There's Nancy looking through the hole at Rourke, and you're like, oh, these
And-
storylines are gonna intersect, and they just never do.
And what was with Nancy? Good God. Could they have
Dude,
just, like, possibly wasted her any more than they did? I mean, I don't think Alba's a great actress. She's obviously attractive. We're not arguing that point. But, like, literally her entire role in this movie was to dance on stage.
That's true.
Like,
Even
other than
the-
that, she, like, did some complaining about how the guy got killed and left her. So
Oh,
they're
listen,
like,
no, her,
I mean,
her
God.
job was even easier than you're making it out to sound, Robbie. Her,
right,
her job was to be an unhappy stripper.
right.
Never
If you're
seen that
on-
before.
If you're on stage stripping and you don't really want to be there, but bam, done.
Done. Right.
Done. Job
Done.
done.
And they made her a raging alcoholic too.
Yes, a raging alcoholic. They just, like, I don't know. They just threw that character away. Like, even worse than, like, don't get me wrong, Sin City does not have great female characters in it for the most part. But this was even worse than normal for them. You know?
Oh, the best female character they killed, like halfway through the movie. Got her head chopped off. And her hands.
I forget.
Yeah.
It's the chick that walked up to
Oh, yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's.
I don't even
Oh.
remember her name.
That's how yeah, Lady Luck or whatever. I think we learned her name at some point, but
Yeah, no, a couple times he says it. But the problem is that, like, they
his whole
introduce the
storyline
character.
is so forgettable that
Yeah, you think she's going to be a player, and then they just, nope, she did.
she did.
She did. And then he doesn't spend, like, I don't know, 2 minutes of, like, talking about how upset he is about it. And not even that upset about it. He's just like, oh, I got her killed. That's
Right.
Better get my revenge.
Guess I'll go back and play poker again and then get shot in the
Yeah.
head.
Of course,
I
they
guess
brought
That's gonna accomplish some stuff.
they brought Christopher Lloyd back.
Oh, dude, we're gonna forget that part. Remember? We
That's
were gonna
true.
pretend that never happened.
They had
Because he's in the
Well, I
movie
mean-
for a whole pointless 5 minutes and
Yeah.
doesn't do anything.
He does
If we're
$40 worth of work.
Right.
If we're gonna pretend like that part never happened, so just pretend like the whole movie never happened. Okay, something else that bothered me. The posters for this movie, which were strewn all over the place. Ginormous posters of Lady Gaga and her character, which was she was a diner waitress. And that's what she did.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Huge posters of her everywhere for literally the entire 5 minutes she was in the movie.
Wasn't even a whole 5 minutes. That seems like we're stretching it some.
It probably wasn't 5 minutes.
Because
And it was
I remember seeing her and going, "That's Lady Gaga, isn't it?" I don't know. And then she was gone, so I forgot to even look at the credits to see if they credited her in the credits or whatever. So.
oh, she was there, I'm sure. But the thing is that her storyline was, first of all, non-existent. She didn't have a storyline.
Nope. No storyline.
Nope.
She had posters, but no storyline, first of all. Second of all, the bit part she did play, she played in the most pointless part of this movie's storyline, which was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's.
Right.
And it, like, why are we billing her as like some big part of this? I don't understand. Like, it's just this felt like a complete money grab, like a not thought out money. I don't even know if Frank Miller was alive for this, or awake when. I think somebody else just put his name on it and was like, "Hey, is this good? No, here, take some more roofies. Is it good now? Okay, let's do this."
Yeah, it reminds me of was it Gus in Jay Silent Bob Strike Back? He's sitting there for
Scouting his money the whole time.
Goodwill Hunting
Yeah.
2, Hunting
Yeah,
Season,
do
or
whatever
something
you
like
want.
that. You're such an artist. You're such an artist.
That was a great bit.
Oh,
Okay. Also, Jeremy Piven and Chris Maloney are also in this movie,
Yeah.
and what is only thanks to Joseph Gordon-Levitt is their part not the most pointless part of this movie. You know what I mean? If they weren't the fact that like if they just devoted less time to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's storyline and more time to this one, it would be the most pointless arc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
literally they show up to where Ava Green has had Dwight kill her husband, and like Chris Maloney falls in love with Ava Green, I suppose, gets seduced by her, and starts stumping her on the side, and Jeremy Piven's angry at him, and then Jeremy Piven's saying bad things about her, so Chris Maloney shoots him, and then blows his own head out, and they're gone.
Yeah, I
Well,
feel like
well,
there should have been more to that.
They
Okay,
didn't
okay.
do anything with this storyline.
Let's set this up, because the thing is, they were set up to be players in whatever was going to go down with Dwight. That's
Right.
how they were set up.
That's how they were set up. And then
they
just
die.
didn't.
Yeah,
Just
then they
didn't.
die. Oh,
And-
let's.
It's more obvious that whoever plays Olivia Benson, I don't remember her name in that SVU show, carries that show.
Yeah,
Mr. Maloney was god awful.
that's true.
Like, you're playing a cop, dude. You do this professionally for like the last 20 years or whatever on SVU. How could you be awful at this? You're playing a goddamn cop.
Well,
It's what you do. It's the only thing that you do.
to be fair to him, there was a lot of great actors in the Star Wars prequels that sucked terribly because they were just giving god awful lines. Like I said, Frank Miller,
Maybe.
I think he literally put a pen in his bum, and it was just like, okay, whatever words that this kind of looks like is
He
what
just-
we're gonna use. For
Just
this
sat on his
movie.
iPhone and let it autocorrect.
Right.
To me, it just kind of seemed like they played up the whole comic book aspect of it way too much. Like they made it too much like a comic book. That's how I kind of took away from it. Because I mean, some movies are good when they remind you of the comic and stuff like that, but then some, like this one, to me, it just was way too much. Like every single scene looked like something you'd see in a comic, which is cool. That's what we liked about the original one. But the dialogue, everything, it all played horrible, and I don't know. I think that it's like you never go full. You never go full, so I think they went all the way with this one.
You went full comic book on this.
Yeah.
Well, and the monologues were really great in the first one,
Yes, they were.
especially Marv's monologues and stuff like that. And they just were disappointing in this one. They just didn't have the same flavor, the same pizzazz they had in the first one. And maybe it's because they were trying to do too much of what they did in the first one.
I think they were reusing some of the jokes as well, like
Yeah.
different lines and stuff like that. I mean, it's cool to hint on, but when every single person says their line again, it's like
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, they become a cliche now and not
Mhm.
not an interesting character anymore.
And again with Marv, he was just like, oh, how are we gonna move this storyline forward? I know. Let's use Marv. He just becomes this
Resident wrecking
plot
ball.
device. Yeah, this plot
Right.
device that just is used in every single story. And well, except for Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Right.
which was I don't know. Maybe that's what they.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt could have used some Marv help.
That's
Yeah.
true. It'd be a good movie
That's
if
all
that
I'm
was
saying.
in there.
But yeah, no. There's so many other things wrong with it. So many other things wrong with it. But like, I'm a fan of Mickey Rourke. I'm a huge fan of his.
Right.
I think he's really, really good. Good actor, and I like the stuff that he's done. But there was just no saving this. It doesn't matter what kind of talent you had in it. There was just no saving it.
Yeah. Oh, so shame that I actually spent money on it.
It was sad. We spent money because it should have been good.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been.
Good pedigree. I mean, but you think we'd learned a lesson from 300? So.
Dude, what is it with shitty sequels and Ava Green's tits?
I think we've learned a lesson. Don't let Ava Green be naked in your movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the lesson we learned.
Yeah, I think like
Well, let me reword that. Don't let Ava Green be naked for any amount of time in your movie. You saw her boobs for a split second in Casino Royale, but that was a great movie. So
did you?
yeah, at one point she's getting up from the bed, and you see a flash of her boobs.
Boobs.
I do not recall that.
Mm.
Well, there's only one way to solve this problem. We'll have to watch it again.
Right? I'm for it.
But
There's been a lot of interesting talk. Like I don't know. A lot of people really liked Skyfall, and I don't get it because I did not
Yeah,
like
I don't get
Skyfall.
that either.
But
I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
not that entertaining. I thought.
And when I woke
I like
up,
Casino Royale.
nothing was. I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening here.
Right. And I even liked Quantum of Solace, even though everyone else on the internet hates that movie.
I never saw it.
I liked it. I thought it was actually pretty decent. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when the next James Bond comes out. It's got to be pretty soon, right?
Well, it's getting just about time, yeah.
I mean, it's usually like every 2 or 3 years or whatever. So
Yeah.
I suppose
But,
probably not until next Thanksgiving.
But again, guys, next week just look forward to Destiny. We'll talk a little bit about that, and or don't look forward to it. I guess I shouldn't tell you what
Right.
to do.
Stop
Don't tell me
hyping.
what to do.
Stop
Yeah.
hyping, bro. It already has enough hype.
Look forward to our honest opinion on Destiny. How about that?
All right, that sounds good.
We're not in bed with those guys. We do what we want.
That's right. Oh.
Are we sure
Well-
we're not?
Yeah, we don't get paid for any of this crap, dude. We're definitely not in bed with anybody.
All right, excellent point. We don't get paid for anything, so.
But anyways, I mean that's going to be probably our largest thing next week, and any news that comes out over the next week. So, if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, please tweet, hit us up on Facebook, talk to us in person, since most people listen to us like we see on a regular basis.
It's true.
So,
Yeah,
But you
that's
should
true.
still go to the website or to Facebook. That way, it looks like we're more popular.
yeah.
Make us look good,
Please.
please. Don't forget to subscribe, please. Oh.
Anyways, I don't know. That was it for me. Do you guys have anything else?
No?
I think that's about it, really.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Take us out, Ryan. You're driving this ship, sir.
All right. That's it. Another one's down. Episode 3, Distant Memory. All right. Catch us next week, same time, same place, for episode 4 of season 2, RSG podcast. Thank you. I'm Ryan Estep with Nathan Connor and Roby Watson. Good night.